Starting issue number 4, we see that Dylan is being reached out to by Knull. He says, "Wake up, child. Do not be afraid. It's time." Knull appears before Dylan and lets him know that he is not here to hurt him. He says, "You were created by my rebellious children, my hive. They made you to destroy me." Knull tells him that his champions have failed and that he doesn't need to die with them, so Dylan should join him. As all this is happening, Dylan is hearing a voice in his head. This voice seems to be an ally trying to help him get out of there. The voice tells Dylan that Knull has made a mistake to bring Dylan here. Dylan can use his powers to break into Knull's hive and help everyone. Knull holds out his hand to Dylan and says, "Join me." Dylan lets the voice in his head know that he has got this, as he reaches out to Knull, grabs his hands, and says, You killed my dad." Dylan then uses his powers to free the heroes that fell to Knull's symbiotic command. As we see multiple heroes being freed, one of them was Doctor Strange, who immediately after being freed, smashes his staff to the ground and harnesses Asgardian magic from Yggdrasil, the World Tree. He says, "Knull believes himself a god? Well, two can play it that game." Meanwhile, the same voice that was in Dylan's head links all the freed heroes and tells them to push all the symbiotes into the center of the city, which is exactly what they do. After that, Namor appears with the Black Tide and rains down a huge body of water to where the symbiotes were pushed. Finally, the voice tells Storm and Thor to light it up. The electrifying duo strike down on the body of water, doing some serious damage to Knull's army. The voice tells Dylan to get out of there, but Knull grabs him by the throat and says, "You think you can beat me, child? Wound me through my hive and you think you've won? But you have not beaten me, boy, and you are alone. No one is coming." When suddenly the voice responds, "Actually, that's where I come in." Knull is shocked to hear someone is inside his mind. He says, "Show yourself. Who dares enter my mind?" The voice says, "I don't believe we've been introduced. My name is Jean Grey. Now let's see what makes you bleed." When Jean tries to find Knull's weakness, she is terrified and surprised to see that he has none. She sees that Knull forged the darkness and bent it to his will, but just before losing all hope, Jean Grey finds that there is something that can stop him. His opposite, the God of Light. Cyclops finds Jean, who is exhausted from going through Knull's mind. Jean says, "The God of Light, it's here, trying to get in, but it can't. It's trapped." Then Jean hears a voice saying, "Worry not, I am here." The Silver Surfer says, "I see the light. It cannot break through the barrier, but I can." The Surfer breaks through Knull's dome and starts taking down his army as we see Knull enraged. The Silver Surfer notices that this God of Light is not here for him, so he sends the light away for it to find its warrior. We see the ball of light go to the home base, where Reed Richards sees it and agrees with Jean. This energy behaves just like a symbiote. He says, "This God of Light, I know what it is. We all do. We've just been calling it differently." At the very end, we see Reed Richards very shocked, saying, "Captain Universe, finally, the Enigma Force, solved." And before he can say anything else, we see the light reach Eddie as it says, "Edward Brock, you have been chosen."